Now there are some skills which is called as attitudinal skills. Now why are they called as attitudinal skills? Because sharpening those skills will help you to develop your attitude. Earlier we saw there are functional skills which helps you to perform a function. Now attitudinal skills are the ones sharpening which will help you to sharpen your attitude. For instance, functional skills are called as hard skills. Attitudinal skills are also called as soft skills or life skills. But in MILT, we call it as attitudinal skills because it is going to sharpen your attitude, enhance your attitude further. Now, let's see what is the difference between a functional skill and an attitudinal skill. Functional skills are the ones you acquire the moment you come into this planet. You became an engineer, you acquired. You became a lawyer, you became a doctor, you became a consultant, you became a painter. All these are acquired skills. So, whatever you acquire on this planet Earth is called as functional skills. But whatever you bring from the womb of your mother is called as attitudinal skills. Now, let's see what is it. See, now that I told you, attitudinal skills are the ones you're born with. Now, what does the child do the moment it's born? It cries, isn't it? Now, why does the child cry? Some people ask some very lousy questions. They went about asking questions because they were curious as to why certain things are happening. They want to find out the cause. That's why they say curiosity is very, very important if you want to discover anything or invent something. So they're asking this question, why does a child cries the moment it's born? And if the child does not cry, the doctor would take the child by the leg and give it one pat on the back. The child cries. Now it's an expression. Why did the child cry the moment it's born? Medically, you might give many reasons, but medical science has also conferred with behavioral science. They say a child was in the cozy comfort of the womb of the mother for about 9 months' time, absolutely comfortable and safe. But the moment it came out, there was no security covering it, and therefore it cried. It has established or expressed a sense of insecurity. If the child does not cry, the doctor takes the child, gives a tap on the back. The child expresses again the pain and displeasure. Little later, the child cries. The mother understands the child is hungry and nurses the child. Little later, the child cries. The mother is wondering why the child is crying, but the nurse, out of her professional expertise, knows when the first feed goes in, the child develops a colic pain, and therefore some gripe mixture is given, and the child stops to cry. And little later, the child cries. Mother's wondering why, but the nurse knows there's something foul under the nappy. The nappy is changed, and the baby is happy. Just imagine, right from the time the tiny tot landed into this planet, it got all its work done. Now, what is that one skill it used maximum to get its work done? It expressed itself, isn't it? Now, let's say the child grows up and goes into various stages of life and comes and sits on a couch like this. Now, if you want something, do you cry? What do? You ask, isn't it? So earlier you couldn't communicate, so therefore you cried. Cry is an expression, and today that crying has now become communication. So communication is a skill we are born with. Now, this attitudinal skills keep growing and sharpening on its own depending on the environment a child is growing till that age of 18 or 20. And after that, people should make decisions to develop these skills. If you don't develop these skills, which is called as attitudinal skills, it stays in the same level when you are 18 or 20. So therefore, you need to put a conscious attempt to develop them. That's why in this MILT leadership course or in the peak performer workshop, we train people on attitudinal skills and we train adults on attitudinal skills. Now they need to constantly keep developing themselves. So therefore, here it's an expression. Communication is a very, very important skill that we need to possess. It is called as a soft skill. It's also a life skill. It's an attitudinal skill. Now, why communication skill is important? The reason is you will find if you are a happy person, it's because of your communication. If you are a successful person, it's because of your communication. Let's say if there are some happy people over here, there's only one reason I can tell you. I don't want to know who you are. But I know one reason why you're happy. You're happy because you got sweet and harmonious relationship with people who matter most in your life. Now, I'm certain there are some miserable people watching this video as well. Now, I don't want to know who you are, but I know one reason why you are miserable. because you have got lousy relationship with people who matter most in your life. Now, what is that one factor which makes or breaks a relationship? And that, my friends, is communication, communication gap, faulty communication, communication not being understood with its intent. And therefore, there is lots of relationship problem happening because of communicational gap. So therefore, for you to live a life with good relationship, you need to ensure you communicate effectively and there's no communication gap whatsoever. Well, communication also plays a very important role in your professional life. Now, why do I say that? We are all professionals. That means we use our brain, not only our brain, we use our brain as well, because we are more professionals. We get work done from people. Well, there are manual workers and they use their muscle. They are more brawny. They use their muscle and they work, but they don't grow much. They keep on repeating the work. They work very, very hard, but they never come up to the next level. But there are executives who grow up in life. The reason is they have brawn, no doubt, but they work on the brain. That means as an executive, as a professional, you get work done through your people. Now, what is that one skill used maximum to get work done through your people? Communication, right? You communicate and you get work done through people, and there your success depends on your ability to get work done. Let's say if you're earning about 50,000 rupees per month, and let's say there are 25 days, it's calculated 2,000 rupees you're getting paid. You are working for 8 to 10 hours. Now, in this 8 to 10 hours, you have to produce results, and the company buys your results for the 2,000 rupees per day. Okay. Now, communication experts say, get ready for a shock. They say 60 to 70% of all our communication is repetition, clarification, and creating confusion. That means out of 10 hours, 7 to 8 hours, we are only repeating, clarifying, and creating confusion. And only 2 to 3 hours, we are effective. That means our majority of time is being wasted. Now, let's say if I'm a magician and I turn around your communication and I make it effectiveness to be 60 to 70% or 70 to 80%. And now with this enhanced skill set of communication, you go out and communicate and you go out and work. And now you'll find in that 7 to 8 hours, the quantum of work that you produce is much more than earlier, because earlier it is only 2 to 3 hours of effective communication. You got work done, but now 7 to 8 hours of effective communication, you're getting work done. That means the quantum of work, the results that you're getting is going to be exponentially high. Now, if you're getting such a result, what happens to you? You get promoted, isn't it? So therefore, communication plays a very, very important role in your professional life. Communication plays a very important role in your family life. Now, if this is the importance of communication, what have you done to your communication? You might say, Daniel, yes, I read a lot of books on communication. I attend seminars and workshops on communication. Let me tell you, my dear friends, if you read books on communication and if you attend seminars and workshops on communication, you only develop knowledge on communication. Whereas communication is a skill. You need to sharpen it through a training program. And MILT is one such training organization which sharpens people on their communication and makes it effective communicate as effective communicators. Because either you're a communicator-oriented communicator or you're a receiver-oriented communicator. Now, if you can develop the power to be a receiver-oriented communicator, that means you'll find in the same duration of time, your work and result is exponentially increasing. So therefore, MILT as an organization trains people to make their communication effectively so that they can produce more results in given period of time. Because mediocre people are activity oriented, but growth oriented people are result oriented. For them, their 20% of effort gets them 80% of result. But a mediocre person, 80% of effort gets in 20% of the result. So therefore, we need to work on our communication skills. So now we have found out, we have got these attitudinal skills. And that is, your communication is an attitudinal skill, and attitudinal skills are the ones you're born, you bring from the womb of your mother. Now we have established this fact. Now you will find that small baby, when it is in the cradle, born and in the cradle, in between the mother goes and gives the baby a big smile, and you'll find the baby almost wanting to get out of the cradle and smiles back. But if a stranger goes in and gives a broad smile, this baby will scream. Now, what's the reason? Because at that young and tender age, that baby registered the face of its mother. So, therefore, memory is a skill we are born with. And as I told you, these skills grow and sharpen on its own automatically till the age of 18 or 19. And after that, you must put in effort. Now, what is memory? Memory is sequential stacking of your thoughts, feelings, and ideas. Now, the moment you can sequentially stack your thoughts, feelings, and ideas, you can send your intellect to get that idea and you communicate. The moment you don't have a sequential stacking of your thoughts, feelings, and ideas, if it is haphazard, your intellect goes inside, it searches, it doesn't get the response, and therefore your delayed response. And then you say, I've got a bad memory. Now, behavioral scientists say there's no question of good memory or bad memory. It's only trained memory or untrained memory. So never ever brand yourself as a person having a bad memory. But tell yourself, I need to develop or train my memory. For instance, if you go to a library, you will find there are hundreds of books. And if you tell the librarian a particular book, you will find the librarian will go to the right shelf, take the book and give it to you. But if you have a friend who is a voracious reader and he's got a lot of books, and if you go and tell him that title, and he's probably got that title, now you will find he will search and he'll say, give me 2 days time, I'll search and give it to you. Now, why is it not possible in a place where only few books, few hundreds of books, but why was it possible in a place where a few thousands of books? The reason is there in the library are sequentially stacked, but here it's haphazard. So similarly, all your ideas are there within you. If you can have your sequential stacking done, then you will find you are able to recall, and therefore memory can be trained. And in MILT, we certainly train people's memory.